Welcome to the Avenue. Kristen Balboni alongside fan favorite Tre Boston. Tre, this time last week we were talking about that huge road win over the Packers. Unfortunately, now we are talking about that tough home loss to the Saints. What do you make of this one?
As I speak for all of us, for the most part, I was disappointed. Last week I told you guys that any given Sunday that any team can win, especially when you have a game inside the division. I thought that this week, like the guy said, it looked like they showed up a little unprepared. This week they said practices didn't go as well as they wanted to. We know they had a victory Monday as well. I can't call out exactly what the recipe was, but it displayed on the field. And hey, that does happen, but I wanted to see our boys dominate this game. We're at the point in the season where I thought we should see a little bit more in a game like that one. So the defense, I thought they came to play. I thought they gave us a chance to win all the way up into the fourth quarter, which is what you ask of them to scratch and claw. This was a Carolina Panther game. The ending score being 17-7. If a team scores 17, we have to find a way to win. But looking at this game, we got to find out who we want to be.
The Saints took the tactic of we're going to sell out against the run, force you to throw the ball. And unfortunately, in this game, that just did not work out well for the Panthers. So, Tre, what did you see and what do you want to see from this passing attack going forward?
Yeah, I think right now, hearing everybody, I think it's time for me to sit here and say, hey, I want to challenge Bryce Young. I want to challenge Bryce Young right now because as the quarterback, as the leader of this team, I want to see you take care of the football. One thing I love about you, young man, is you take accountability for anything that happens amongst this offense. But I want to see you take the next step, take care of the football. Hey, get these guys lifted up. I want to see our receivers get into rhythm early in this game and feel comfortable. Now, we know that predicates off the run game and play action pass. But, Bryce, it's your time to shine like you did on the back half of last season. I can't wait to see these few games from you, man, because I know that you're going to get the job done. You'll accept the challenge, and we'll see the Bryce Young who we know you can be. And this receiving core and this offensive line, I want to see them as well get started. Receiving core, yak, yards after catch. We got to be playmakers. O-line, we got to keep this pocket clean. If we know the team who we are right now, we know who we are right now, and we got to get the job done. No matter how hard it is, no matter how many people come at us, we got to make sure that we get the job done and do our 111.
Tre, you talked about this defense. You praised them, and especially in the red zone when you look at them, what they're able to accomplish. So here's an incredible stat. They're sixth in the NFL in red zone defense. When an opponent gets the ball in the red zone, they score it less than 50% of the time. That's a great stat.
That's big.
Sixth in the NFL in that. How are they doing it?
I mean, they're doing a great job. This team fuels off of short yardage. And when you get down to that red zone, again, you only have so many yards left. And that's where Evero plays his best ball. That's where we become stout. We have corners who are big, hands-on corners. We have Merrick, who's a safety who we can place anywhere. A D-line front seven who likes to take care of the running game. So they've done a great job with field goals and takeaways once it gets to the their red zone. And that's what you need of your team, especially this team. We're seeing this team take the identity of being a defensive team who's going to play smash mouth football. We might wobble, but we don't fall down. And this defense has pretty much taken the brick standard of, hey, when it gets to the red zone, we're going to fight. They have the belief that we're going to lead you to field goals. So I love to see that from this defense.
Yeah, look at those numbers right there. By the way, is that Weebles? Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down?
Yeah.
My mom loves to say that. That's a great way. Like I said, look at these numbers
So
right here.
looking at these numbers, I mean, again, second in rushing yards attempt, 11th in passing yards, top 10 almost in everything. Touchdowns, third, conversion, second. This defense is playing great ball, flying around, especially, again, if you were to take off the first few games of the season where we were feeling like, whoa, what's going on with an Evero-type defense? we were a little bit worried for a little bit. But I want to tell you guys, man, they have dialed in. They play great ball. They are the catalyst. They are the nucleus. They are the back to this team right now. And guys, I want to commend you for how you've played these last few games, man, because we're putting the hat on y'all's back, man. Listen, right there. Not on your head, on your back. Team on your back. Let's go.
All right, good or bad, one thing that Tre Boston is going to help us do is turn the page to the next week. Saints are in the rearview mirror, and right now the Panthers are facing a Falcons team that got shut out 30-0 in Week 3. They're going to have a point to prove. So, Tre, how does this team turn the page and get ready for Atlanta?
Turning the page, I believe that this is the most important game of the season right now. Seeing our team, we're 5-5. Hey, we're 5-5. I mean, we're ready to take on and be where we are. We have 7 games left. If I told you guys we only had to win 4 of our 7 to slide into the playoffs, do you guys believe? I do believe in this team. It's not going to come easy. But listen, we have a Saints game again, 2 Buccaneers games. We got the Falcons this week who we've dominated before. We have a LA Rams. Listen, we have teams down this bunch who we can find ways to get wins off of. But do we know who we're going to be? Because right now, moving forward, we've seen our team play to competition. I'm telling you right now, when we're underdogs, we're foot on the gas, back against the wall. But last week showed us that, hey, we might not be where we need to be to take our foot off the gas. These guys have to continue to grind for everything that comes their way. And they now know this. This is the NFL. You play big boy ball every week, and they have an opportunity to reach the playoffs. Guys, 4 games of 7 gets you in the playoffs. So this game versus Atlanta, a team who you dominated before, you now know you can't come into this game thinking you're going to dominate them. Men, take something from me. I remember back in 2015, we dominated Atlanta here in Bank of America. I want to say 35-0. We went down to Atlanta, end of the year, last game of the season, and we lost heading into that Super Bowl run. Again, guys, do not take this game lightly. Know that these guys are coming to hunt. They have a recipe they feel like can stop us, but we do not care what they feel like. We're coming ready to attack and train to go. I can't wait to turn the page because this game is the most important game.
I love to hear that. Most important game of the season. Can't wait to see how this team responds. So you have in the past given us a checklist of things you want to see in a certain game, and typically when you do that, this team has delivered on them. We've been able to check those things off. So what is your checklist for this game against Atlanta?
Yes. So I love to give you guys checklists because these are things that I truly believe. If you get these done, we will win. Hey, are they hard? Are they difficult? Yeah. We want to win, and this is what it takes to get it done. First, I think we have to find ways to get more explosive plays inside this offense. Right now, we're lacking that explosion, those playmaking chunk yards of 15 yards or more in the pass game and 10 yards in the running game. We've seen Rico go off in the previous games, but it has to continue to happen. In the pass game, again, we need to see more from our guys with yards after catch and explosive plays. So 8 or more explosive plays is what I would love to see inside this game to get the job done. Then we have to win the turnover battle. I told you guys earlier, I present Bryce with the challenge. Now, this is for the whole offense because he's not the only one with the ball. We have to take care of the ball and win the turnover battle. So defense, like you guys have been doing, you got to find ways to be effective, and the ball is the issue, meaning we got to find ways to get our offense back the ball. And can you get them the ball past the 50, make their job easier? And my third one, we've won the 3 games that we've rushed over 150. You're saying, Tre, 150 is a lot. Yeah, well, listen, it's been done. We've done it 3 times. So if we're going to win this game, yeah, we can talk about the pass game, but we need to run the ball efficiently. We need to be who we can be. And, hey, guys, if the pass game gets started, yeah, and we end up with 147, I'm okay with that. But 150, I will tell you, I believe gets the job done.
All right, 147, good to know. All right, coming up in just a minute, we're going to be talking about it all with Fozzy Whittaker. Always love having him on the show. But first, Hopefully you've noticed over the weeks that Trey and I have some pretty good gear on.
I'm just saying.
Look, where I got a little starter right here. I mean, we're looking good, right?
We
are
got
looking
some swag to us.
All right, and the holidays are coming up, as we know. So if you need gift ideas for the Panthers fan in your life, shop.panthers.com has got you covered. You can shop our gift guide at shop.panthers.com/X-2169. It is right there on your screen. You got to go check it out. Fozzy, it is so great to see you and have you on. We always look forward to these chats. So last time we talked to you, it was after the Cowboys game, and Rico had just gone off for another big game. He has since taken that starting role. This week, though, against the Saints, not the best game for the rushing attack overall. What did you see in that one?
I think ultimately it came down to the defense for New Orleans really honing in on what Carolina has been doing very well. And Rico and the combination of Rico and Chuba have been excellent since he's taken over in that Dallas game. But I think ultimately New Orleans honed in on that, was able to limit the explosive gains in the running, and then also being able to be more complimentary from the standpoint of forcing turnovers, short fields. I mean, the offense only ran 50 plays for Carolina, and whenever you're not able to convert on third downs, converting on fourth down as well, I believe we were 3 of 10 in third and fourth down conversions. You don't give yourself a chance. You get in third and long situations, running the ball is no longer an option, and that's where the offense has to be better and more complementary with each other.
Now, Fozzy, looking at our offense, we're now understanding we're a run-first offense. Now, going into this, how do you find your way to build the momentum on, hey, not just being one-dimensional, but finding ways to get the pass game started?
Ultimately, I think it comes down to first being efficient and effective in the run game, right? If you call a run play on first down, the expectation is you got to get 4, right? You need to be in second and manageable and putting yourself in third and short situations. Now, where that comes into play is being able to be having the receivers, having their tight ends, all being able to be locked in on the floor and being able to block downfield. And we saw that actually happen on Rico Dowdle's first touchdown. You see Coker come in, get the block, and it opened up the hole for Rico to be able to score. And that's what we've seen over the past few weeks is downfield block and help open up some of those explosive plays. But you got to be efficient and effective in first and 10 and second and long situations. Be able to get half of it back if you can, and then keep that offense moving ahead of the chains, and then keeping Bryce Young comfortable in the pocket.
You mentioned those explosive plays. That's something that we have talked about, and you talked about how they could get it done in the run game. How would you get it going in the pass game?
It still hinges off of the success that Carolina has experienced. Keep running the rock with your bell cow. Obviously, Rico Dowdle has been great over the past 5-6 weeks. Team's going to hone in on that. You got to use that to your advantage. The defenses that are extremely aggressive and packing the box, hit them over the top of the head with play action. We've seen T-Mac been very good in one-on-one situations, but then also utilizing the linebackers' eyes against them by getting some of those crossing routes by the tight ends, whether it's Jatavian Sanders or Trimble or Evans, whoever the case may be, being able to get those deep crossers, I think is the exact opportunity to create some explosives and open up kind of where the linebackers and safeties are trying to defend the run and trying to make sure they stay back and defend over the top.
Now, Fozzy, this week we're going against a Bijan Robinson. We know the Falcons like to run the ball as well. How do you stop a Bijan Robinson, and what does it do to a team when you can take away their best player on that side of the ball?
Well, I think if you go back to the very first matchup, right, it was kind of the recipe for success. You saw a mixture and combination of 3 safeties with Merrick and Scott, and you had Ransom in there, and multiple different formations, and being able to have multiple hats on Bijan, right? I know him very well, obviously, and he's been performing very well since he's entered into the NFL. But the more hats you get on him, you're right, it's all going to be about swarming the ball and being able to penetrate and slowing everything down at the line of scrimmage. I think that's how you really start to slow them down, and then mixing in that 3 safety rotation package so that whenever they get into some of those passing situations, you got a guy that can cover with him because he catches out of the backfield extremely well also. But it comes down to ultimately getting people around his feet, and then making Michael Penix beat you. The last time they played, he had 2 turnovers, and that 3 safety look kind of confused him. So try to take the pressure off of the defense by forcing Michael Penix to beat you rather than letting Bijan get loose.
Yeah, he did not look good in that first game against the Panthers. So what I want to know, though, is we talked about this a little bit, which is, you know, that motivation factor. Of course, the Panthers are going to do what you said and take what they did well in that 30-0 shutout. But the Falcons are going to come in with some motivation. How motivating is it? How much do you want to change up your game plan if you're the Falcons saying, look, we got shut out in a big way and embarrassed last time we played?
I'll be ready to go. Obviously, they got to protect their house and their territory and their mindset, like you mentioned, coming off of a loss against the Indianapolis, which they felt like they probably should have won. And then the 30-0 beating that they took earlier in the season, they got a lot of animosity built up where they want to showcase what team they truly are. And I think the same can be said about Carolina, right? This is a team that's been experiencing success above 500 for the first time in a while. And then that success, well, I guess the team didn't handle it as well as we thought they would against a team in New Orleans that had 1 win up to date. And that is where the consistency factor needs to be more consistent for this team, right? If you're going to be a team that's competing for the NFC South and in the NFC division as a whole, this is the time in November and December where you got to start peaking and playing your best football. So I think it's all hands on deck, obviously, this week. And the motivation that Carolina has, it has to match the fire intensity that Atlanta will have as they play at home, trying to avenge that 30-0 loss.
And Fozzy, finally, I just want to know, what do you want to see from this team? You talked about consistency. What else are you looking for specifically from this team on the back half of the season? Any questions you want answered?
Well, ultimately, we talked about playmakers throughout the course of this entire interview. I want to see what playmaker steps up, right? We've seen Rico Dowdle take games over whenever he's had to. We've seen Chuba Hubbard do this in the past as well, and that 1-2 punch is still going to be dynamic for this team. But how are we going to see other guys around, especially in the passing game, right? Will we see Bryce Young take that next step? Will we see T-Mac continue to do some of those one-on-one miraculous catches that we saw him do? And is there going to be somebody that takes over? What if they double team T-Mac? Are we going to have a receiver that can go for 8 or 100 yards? That's what I want to see happen over the course of the next couple of weeks. And then also creating those turnovers and minimizing and limiting the turnovers that you have offensively. With a team that likes to focus on running the rock, you have time of possession, you play keep away, but the limited touches that you have per possession is going to come down to also how much efficiency you have with running the rock. So for this Carolina team, whenever you get the ball, be efficient with it, be effective with it, find those playmakers, but then also be complimentary, because that's going to help the defense be well rested, and then also the defense continuing to give you extra possessions with turnover, with takeaways.
All right, Foz, last question. Hey, listen, earlier I said this game is important. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this Falcons game for us to get a W, knowing that there's only a few games left on this schedule to get the job done?
I think this is a 10, man. This is, I said it earlier, all hands on deck. This is where you have to really pit down and say, hey, what team do we want to be, and what team do we want to be remembered as? This could be the turning point, right? You take an L last week in the division against New Orleans, and obviously that's not something that you want to do. You got a bad taste in your mouth. The best way to get that taste out of your mouth is go punch somebody else in the face, and I think that's what Carolina has to do against Atlanta.
Fozzy, let me tell you what, almost word for word, exactly what Tre said earlier. You could tell how excited he was that you guys matched right there. Thank you so much, as always. It is always so great to get your take and your expertise and to catch up with you.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all having me on. Y'all keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
It's time now for your tweets. The first one, Tre, that we've got is from C.E. Higgins, author. I would love to know what you're writing, C.E. Higgins. Is last week's outcome simply the result of a young and inexperienced team and coaching staff having a letdown after a big win, or is it an indicator of a more fundamental flaw?
Wow. Listen, C. Higgins, that's good stuff right there. I do believe this is a factor of a young, inexperienced team. And I don't mean inexperienced as in, oh, man, they don't have it. But, yes, we know what it's like to have guys who have been there, done that, veteran leadership. This is one of the younger teams in the NFL, younger coaching staffs in the NFL as well. So I believe this one was a learning phase, a learning hiccup that they will take with them down the road with them. But, yes, I do not think it's a fundamental flaw. I think this team knows who they are. I think this team knows where we want to go. I think this team knows the identity of this roster as well. And that's why I told you guys earlier, hey, now that we know what we have, now we have to work with what we got. So I think it's more of being that inexperienced young team than fundamental flaw.
And the good thing about being young is that you get older, you get more experience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, our next tweet is from @Panthos704. Shout out to the 704. Wants to know, why is it difficult for us to create yak? I feel like we have zero explosive plays through the air.
All right, so I've been answering these. Explosive plays have been limited from us. Now, I think yak comes from a few things. One, if we're a play action team, that means we have to run the ball effectively. Now, off of the play action, our guys have to find ways to get open but build separation. Right now, we're not seeing much separation amongst our wide receivers and the cornerbacks that are guarding them. Can we find ways to get our guys open in space and give them space to run the ball, whether that's waggles, boots, whether it's crossers? We got to find ways to get that job done. So you're not wrong by asking this question, my guy. But something we have to do is find ways to get it done.
All right, next question from @DeaconAleash. From your perspective, how much of the Panthers' inconsistency can be blamed on injuries, and how much is about execution, coaching, or just poor preparation?
Yeah.
A little bit more of the same theme, but a different spin on it, too, including injuries.
Absolutely. So injuries have hurt us a little bit. I won't speak into who's injured at the times, but we have been banged up at the O-lineman position. We have been banged up at the D-line position as well. We've been banged up at receiver. We've been banged up pretty much everywhere. Not every team is going to go through injuries, but this is where experience and your roster must help what the NFL is going to go through every year. You're going to have 100%, 100% guaranteed injuries on your team. But how do we build a roster to develop this team to keep them going? Again, like I said, we're seeing a roster that is young, but they are growing. The coaches as well. But moving forward, identifying who you are, because these coaches scout their own selves as well, just like we scout them and just like other teams scout them. They know the problems that they have presented. I look for this week, that's why I say it's the most important week, to see the team that we come out as the Carolina Panthers moving forward.
All right, Trey, our final tweet is from @JackPChapman. What's that extra layer of the chess game during the week's preparation when getting ready to play an opponent for the second time? And is there such a thing as over-preparing? Interesting.
Ooh. Over-preparing, I don't think so. And I could say going into this week, yes, the guys have to find ways to scratch and claw to get as much information as possible. Playing with a guy like Luke Kuechly, you know that there's never enough information that you can learn. Listen, I was just with him a couple weeks ago, last week, hearing the knowledge that he had in the presentation that we had. I'm like, the attention to detail never fails when you have it. So I say this, you guys must attention to detail. That's lock in on what you have ahead of you. Last 30-point win, throw it out the window. Because while we just played the Saints, who let you know records don't matter, last games don't matter, we got to come into this game locked in, knowing that this is the game that we say we're going to show up when people have expectations about us. The people have expectations about us now. And now that you've been on notice, last week's question was, the nation doesn't give us enough respect. I told you guys, wait on it. This was the reason why. Let's see what this team gives us this week. I have faith in them. I know they'll get the job done, but I want to see a win that tells us this is the Carolina Panther team that we like seeing.
Thank you, as always, for your questions. They're always so good. This fan base is so knowledgeable. We appreciate you sending those in. And remember, you can tweet Trey your questions at any time during the week. We'll try to get them on air for you. All right. I feel ready for what you called is the most important game
Come
of the
on.
season on Sunday.
It is.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll be back with you next Wednesday.